next up, please stand clear of the closing doors. It's time to take a trip with the one and only Team 5.
Good morning, everybody. We're Team 5. I'm Daniel, the programmer and producer.
I'm Ezra, a programmer.
I'm Cooper, a programmer.
I'm Genevieve, the sound designer.
And Kira, one of the artists.
I'm Jay, the other artist.
This is our game, Mundane Transit Activities, and it's based off of all the chaotic activities that happen on the New York City subway. And this is our demo.
For the inspiration for the game, obviously New York City was a big inspiration. And if you've ever been on the subway, you know that a lot of times it's seen as mundane and boring. After all, it is a lot of people's daily commute. But also, chaos can happen at any time. Like two people drawing saxophones like weapons and having a jazz duel, unprompted and unscripted. Or, from my own personal experience, seeing people in ridiculous costumes just on their way to the Smithsonian. And a lot of times, people just don't notice that these things are even happening around them. So this idea of crazy things happen all the time, you just have to look up and notice, was a big thematic inspiration for our game. And then for the gameplay, our biggest inspiration was WarioWare, the game series by Nintendo. It's about these really small micro games, like 5 seconds long, played back to back to back with like a second in between. So the natural chaos that comes with that sort of game, and then the chaos of the subway, felt like a natural pair for our game.
All right, art. So a lot of the initial concepting we did for this game had more to do with the characters and the, I guess, setting of it. We kind of wanted to establish the level of weirdness we would have early on. Shrek theory is real, by the way. The initial premise is that the player finds a misprinted Metro card, and that's what makes them notice all the weird things happening around them. So that is the Metro card design that we came up with. Okay, now backgrounds. The top two are used in the opening cutscene of the game. The second one are kind of like play baseline backgrounds that are used in most of the mini games. And more assets. These are more to do with just player interaction. We have a guitar, we have a slot machine, and also there are posters scattered throughout the subway just so that it livens up the place a little. And one thing about this game is that there is a lot of art. So what we ended up doing was we repurposed some of the original concept art and kind of just cleaned it up a little bit, and now they're interactable characters.
Here's some more like games and assets. For some of them, we started off by reusing some, but as you can see, or I guess we'll see since you'll see some of the ones that we used to use later, we made some unique designs to make it more visually clear, and we simplified some designs and added some different art styles to make it more interesting. Here are some more examples. As you can see, we added the epic sax battle and had some different like states for if you lost a note. And there's also, as you can see, a 3D model of the train. Took a little bit too long, I'm not gonna lie. We were going to have it 3D, but decided to use a 2D renderer and artificial lighting to make it stand out with our game a bit more.
So for the gameplay flow, you start on the menu where you can choose to either the tutorial or the endless mode, and then you go to this train view, which acts as a separator between every microgame. So then you go and play a microgame, which you can win or lose. And if you lose all your lives, then you have a game over and either start over or retry the same level.
So for sound, I took inspiration from 3 main video games, which are Mindwave, Jet Set Radio, and Subway Surfers. So for Mindwave, I took a lot of inspiration from here because the gameplay is very similar to our game, which is lots of Metro games back to back to back. versus with Jet Set Radio and with Subway Surfers, both of their various soundtracks have a very sort of metro NYC feel, and I wanted to recreate that sort of atmosphere in our tracks. And then here is the main menu music that we have. So for this, I wanted to have a more relaxing sort of feel, because you've just gotten onto the subway, nothing that crazy has really happened yet, you're just looking around, the only unusual thing is the misprinted Metro card, but then when you get to the actual level itself, now all of these crazy things are happening, and you're going out and seeing and doing all of these bizarre things. So I wanted it to have more of a drive, and more of an adventurous sort of feel. And then as for sound effects, here are 3 sound effects that we have currently implemented in the game. Those are the train doors opening, and this is some subway ambience from the intro cutscene.
And as we developed this game, we received lots of feedback from multiple different sources on how we can improve. And first, from faculty and TAs during interims, they wanted a more cohesive nature of gameplay and wanted all the microgames to feel like at least they were on the subway. And additionally, they wanted more responses from the game to signify that you either won or lost a microgame.
However, when we gave the game to playtesters, they actually wanted it to be more chaotic, less coherent. Being on the subway was irrelevant if it made the game more unpredictable and more fun. Just seeing what could happen next was a big part of the game. Though also, did I win was also a common statement during early parts of the game. So clearing up whether or not you're doing the right thing in every microgame did take a lot of dev time, but it was worth it.
Alright, so you may have seen this for a split second earlier. This is Duel, one of our mini games, and generally the premise follows there are 2 cowboy wannabes in the subway and they're having a nerve battle, and they think they are so cool, and in the West they are not. Originally we had it just like this, the subway doors would open and you would just be here. There was a very large amount of disconnection. So what we did was we added this thing that fades in beforehand. This is an actual guy from New York City. He's called the Naked Cowboy, and he walks around with a very conveniently placed guitar, and he's reeling in the subway now.
This is a dog for like one of the mini games. You may have seen it in the demo. I made him with sugar, spice, and everything nice, so that you 100% want to pet them, but you can't because they're such a security dog, as you can see with their vest. But lots of people do want to pet it, and so I made it even more difficult by adding a happy face for when you lose, so you're more likely to do it again.
Alright, so for our organization, after interims, we found out that we had a couple of problems, but some of the problems were a time constraint and coherence with our project. So with the time constraint, we originally planned on making 40 different microgames, but that was not going to happen. So we eventually landed on the 20 that we have in the demo around there. The way that we found out to fix this problem is that instead of using the original system that we were going to do by having record games, we put in level sets around 10 each and having them each have a theme. We decided to put them all within one big randomized level. Now, what this did is that it really helped with our coherence and our timing problem by eliminating the constraint of theme. We were originally having a hard time trying to make enough quality games for each theme in order for it to be appropriate to put a whole bunch of games into small levels. So we didn't really want to do that. We also didn't want to bloat our game with a whole bunch of bad games just to meet the level quota. So that's another reason why we scrapped that. And we believe that if we put all of them into one main randomized level, it would be easier for us to organize them to be more grounded within the subway theme rather than just be randomly teleporting into the Wild West.
And finally, we're going to showcase some minigames. So first, you saw this in the demo, but this is a vending machine. You use a finger, drag a card, and then try to buy something, and then you punch the vending machine. And here's the door stuck. The elevator's doors are stuck. You have to use both fingers to drag them apart. And finally, here you got taking a picture. So you're taking a picture of Shrek Fury. You use your phone, you tilt your phone to aim the camera and then take a picture. And then here's some final thoughts. This was our entire group's first time developing a mobile game, so we had to learn a lot of new things such as touch inputs and tilt inputs, but we adapted quickly. We also, as mentioned before, we also overscoped, but we restructured everything and managed to produce a satisfactory game in the time constraints. And finally, we also have developed a great team dynamic to efficiently produce micro games in this short amount of time. Thank you.
Thank you.